This is the Pope's perspective and my 30 days of Disney. So, yes, that is my French accent, but we are talking about Beauty and the Beast, the next part of the Disney Renaissance years. I saw Beauty and the Beast in theaters. It was my mom and my brother and I, my brother who's just older than me. I think my mom had actually seen it a couple times before. She took us separately. She took my sisters, and then she took my brother and I, and she may have taken other people. I know my mom loves Beauty and the Beast, and she's loved it. She's loved it from the beginning. Beauty and the Beast it's a beautiful story. It's a love story. Okay? So you have this tale, you have this beast who used to be human, but an enchantress cast a spell on him because he showed unkindness. He was not willing to show apathy towards this woman, and in punishment, she made him into a beast until he could find love, who would love him in return. And pretty raw end of the deal, though, for all the servants. The beast mess up, and all the servants become inanimate objects. So, of course, they're not inanimate objects because they're very animate. And this is where Disney really kicks in. They really had fun with it. And so, and also it was interesting how, their characters really emphasize what they were. Lumiere was very lighthearted. He was full of life, full of flame. He was a candlestick, a candelabra. Cogsworth was very, very tightly wound, like a clock. Very, very, very strict, very stern, kind of like that. And you had Mrs. Potts, who was very bubbly and warm, like a warm cup of tea, voiced by the legendary Angela Lansbury. We've seen with the stage version and now the live action version, we've seen other Mrs. Potts. No one can top Angela Lansbury. I'm sorry, Angela Lansbury will always be Mrs. Potts. There was so much fun with that, with those characters. Okay? And then you got Gaston. I'm Gaston. I'm the best there ever is. No one can be Gaston. He's so vain. He's so full of vanity. But here he is in this town, and they fuel his vanity. Belle and her father are the only ones in this town who are not awestruck by Gaston. And I find it so ironic that Gaston can have any girl he wants in town, and he wants the one girl that doesn't want him. Maybe he wants a challenge. I don't know. And the love story, okay? A lot of people look at Beauty and the Beast, and you got it's got the Stockholm Syndrome, and the Beast is horrible, and that's now wait a minute. Throughout the process of the film, the Beast changes. Okay? He changes. He meets Belle, and he wants to be a better person. He's a beast. He wants to be. He does want to be a person, but he wants to be better, and he puts forth that effort. Okay? If the Beast remained cold and unloving and was continually cruel and didn't change his heart, then yes, Belle should not have gotten with him. But he changes through the course of the film. This film is about change. Gaston will not change. Gaston is full of himself, and he is convinced that nobody is as great as him, and nobody will get in his way. And he doesn't think about others. It's only about him. If you're not as good as me, you're nothing. But nobody can be as good as me. But that's why I want Belle, because Belle's the best and I deserve the best. And it's good to be the best. But we need to acknowledge others. We need to care for others. We need to be... And so the Beast goes through that change. So, um, it's not this horrible thing that people make it out to be. Like I said, as what it started at, yes, it was wrong of the Beast to imprison Belle's father. It was wrong to imprison Belle. But that actually is like, that's a very touching moment though. Because he senses, it's like, you would take your father's place? It's like he sees the love she has for her father, that she would do something like that. And that sparks a change in him. Okay. Also, I have to, like, talking about Beauty and the Beast, that the transformation at the end of the film, when the Beast transforms back into the prince, when he transforms into human form, watch that scene frame by frame. You are really seeing him transform, and it is one of the most beautiful animated sequences I've ever seen. It is just phenomenal, because you are really seeing him change. And you watch the behind the scenes features on subsequent editions of Beauty and the Beast. There's been multiple editions, and unfortunately not all of them have the same special features, but a lot of subsequent editions of the Beauty and the Beast, they've, in the special features, Glenn Keane, who animated the Beast, he talks about, like, he pretty much saved that scene for the end. Like, that was the last thing he animated, and he talked about, it's like you go into this dinner and you're having this great big banquet and you want to save dessert for last because you want to save the best for last, but then you've got to get it all finished out, and you're like, oh, you got to leave the restaurant, but he really, like, he did his research, he really took his time, whatever he did, it was him and all of the other animators that worked on Beast, and that scene it's phenomenal. It is just amazing. Like, and that's what Beauty and the Beast is about. Beauty and the Beast is about change. Okay? And you can take it and it's like, oh, well, that's a terrible message because he was so mean and rotten. If he stayed mean and rotten, then yes, she shouldn't have stayed with him. But he changed for the better. And that's something I do believe is a true trait of people. We can change. Okay? If a person doesn't change, then get out. If you need to get out, then get out. But we need to give the people the opportunity to change. And when they do change, we need to see if they can become someone better. They may surprise you. That's what Beast did. Beast surprised Belle. Belle saw the change in him. She saw him changing throughout the course of the film, which there's been lots of speculation of exactly how long the film takes place, how long she's there, and like the filmmakers like joked around, like Belle was like searching all over Paris, like the Cathedral of Notre Dame. Belle, where are you? Which is actually kind of funny. So, but regardless of how long, she did see a change in him. And so it's a beautiful film. It is one of the best love stories ever told. Hey, I will back up Beauty and the Beast any day. It's a beautiful film. I will say I wasn't as big a fan of the remake, of the live action remake. I didn't. They made it so much like the animated film, like it was like, well, what was the point? Just to see it in live action? But the animated characters, the inanimate characters, they looked better in their animated forms. They didn't look as good in the designs they gave him in the live action films were not as interesting. I mean, Mrs. Potts, I love her design in the animated film. Like the nozzles, her nose, and she's got the mouth under there, and like she looks like it looks like this head there, but she has a character. In the new film, it just looked like they pasted the film on the pot. And I guess they had the idea was like the designs on the pot were her face, but it just looked like her face was pasted on the pot, and it wasn't. It could have been any face. It just didn't. I don't know. I wasn't as happy with the designs and some of the. Don't get me started on the voice tuning in that. I'm just like, Well, do I want to listen to Paige O'Hara in the animated film, or I can listen to Susan Egan in the Broadway version, who also later voiced Megara in Hercules. Both are very good. They're very lovely voices to listen to. Or do I want to listen to Emma Watson's turned-up voice? Like, no, I'm sorry. I love you, Emma. You're a great actress, but I wish they would have either cast a different actor or dubbed her voice, because it wasn't good. But I will say my biggest complaint of the live-action film. I'm gonna get this out. This is my big tangent, but you expect me to believe that Belle, who is a well-read reader, she reads every book she can get her hands on. You expect me to believe that her favorite story of all time is the cliche Romeo and Juliet. Give me a break. I don't know what her favorite would be. In the Broadway version, they have her read the story of Arthur and Guinevere, and that's a beautiful story, and I love that, and that worked really well. But her favorite wouldn't be like the cliche answer. She would have her favorite, and she could tell you why it was her favorite, and so that part really bugged me. I'm like, do you really know Belle? It's like you're just writing this line. That line, I don't know. That line just drove me nuts. I was rolling my eyes with the Beast, but not because Romeo and Juliet. I was just like, give me a break. That would she could give you a detailed thesis of her favorite story of all time, and she could go leaps and bounds over Romeo and Juliet. Not that Romeo and Juliet isn't a good story, but like I said, it was the cliche answer. And Belle's not cliche. She's the oddball. I mean, if there was only like one story in town that the other townspeople had heard of, it probably would have been Romeo and Juliet. And she would probably go, it's like, oh, Romeo and Juliet's nice, but you're missing out on some other great stories too. So that's my little tangent I will go on the remake. But the animated film is just, it's perfect the way it is. I mean, it surprised them when they got the Best Picture nomination. But they weren't going to make a film that would be Best Picture. They were just like, we're going to make a great animated film. And it went on to be the first animated film to receive a Best Picture nomination. And deservingly so. I mean, the film is beautiful. The film is so well told. It's a classic. That's the Post perspective on Beauty and the Beast. Next, we shall be traveling into a whole new world for the next part of our Renaissance era.